Hey guys, welcome back to this tutorial. This is part 2 from where we left off. So we're coming back to finish off this tutorial, and we had two problems. As engineers, we solve problems. So our two problems are to find the short circuit current on F1 and F2. So these are fault locations on our network. Where we left off is we got to calculate the per unit total, okay, the Z per unit total for the fault on F1. So that is on the fault on F1, not fuse 1. So from there, the next thing is then to calculate the short circuit current at that point and the short circuit MVA at exactly the same point. So if you haven't watched this tutorial, please familiarize yourself with it and watch it so you can get up to date. Now we're going to move on. Now in this part here, we're going to obviously calculate the short circuit current and MVA from both F1 and F2. But so far we've calculated the Z per unit total, okay, that is for the fault on F1, and we found the value of 0.095 J, okay, so that is J per unit, okay. So that's the value we calculated there. Now the next thing to do is then to calculate the per unit current. Now we know that the per unit current is given by 1, which is the 1 volt per unit, that's a unity, and divided by the Z per unit total. Now this means we can then replace the value because we already know what Z per unit total is, and that gives us a value of 10.53 with an angle of minus 90 degrees. Now the next thing is then to calculate our short circuit current. We know that the I short circuit is equal to I per unit times I line. That is how you calculate your short circuit current. Now we've already calculated I per unit. What's the next thing? That is then to determine the value of the I line. Now a lot of people make a mistake when calculating I line. You have to always make sure on where are you calculating the line current. Remember, this is a line. It's flowing from here. That's a line. And from here, it's also a different line. So you must always understand that the line current here will never going to be exactly the line current there, because we are talking about current that is before the transformer and after the transformer, and they will never going to have the same magnitude. So you have to take account of that. So here at point F1, the current here is basically the line voltage that the line current here is basically the one that is located before this transformer and from this generator. So which means that I line, you have to use the voltage on this zone. Okay, and what is the voltage on the zone? The voltage on the zone is 11 kilovolt. So now that we know our zone voltage, we can then go ahead and apply the formula, and that will then be SB new divided by V zone, okay, times the square root of 3, and we find a current, a line current flowing on that side of 1043.73 amps. So now that we've calculated our line current, and that is equal to 1049.73 amp, we can then calculate our short circuit current, which is then equal to I per unit times I line. We already have the value of I per unit, that is 10.53 amps. So from there, the answer will be very easy. So it's just a multiplication, and we find a value of I short circuit of 11.053 kilo amps. So that means that the fault current at this potential is going to be 11 kilo amps. So what does it tell you? It tells you that you need to put equipment that is capable of breaking this current without causing fire, because it's a very huge current. So mind you, if you put a circuit breaker that can only handle 10,000 kilo amps, it might explode if 11 kilo amps of current come through. So that's why you have to do a short circuit current calculation to exactly know your equipment ratings. All right, so we move on then to calculate the short circuit MVA. So the short circuit MVA will be determined by the formula I short circuit is equal to SB new divided by VB zone times the square root of 3. Now you can see that this is a formula for I line. That's exactly the same formula, so we've just replaced I line here with the I short circuit, and from there we can then manipulate that formula to find S short circuit. Okay, that is the square root of 3 times SB VB zone times I short circuit. So now you just need to fill up the blanks and you find an MVA, okay, short circuit MVA potential of 210.59. So basically 210.6 megavolt ampere of short circuit MVA that will be available at that point. Okay, so we move on. So now we need to focus on a potential fault occurring at this point here, F2. Now we consider that there is no more fault at that point. There is only one fault here. So what does it mean? We then need to redraw the circuit for the fault on F2, okay, not the fuse. Okay, so basically redrawing our circuit just like we did on the previous one, we're now going to have our impedance diagram ignoring this fault here. So what will happen here? There is a short circuit here. All the current is coming through this point here. Now if you've got your load here, you have your load here, okay, like this generator there. Remember, your load is not going to receive anything anymore. All the current is going down here. The circuit is offline. The people going to start complaining. There's power failure, okay, there's load shedding and all sorts of things happening. So what is causing it? Because there is a short circuit here. Maybe there's fire there. But now, how did this current become so big there? Because the generator here is now pumping the current coming through this way, through this line, and the generator 2 is also doing exactly the same thing through this way and through the line. So automatically you have the current merging on the line and then dropping into this point here and putting your equipment offline. So you then need to calculate your new Z per unit total based on the path the current is going to take. So you need to reduce this thing. So what will happen here? G1 and T1 are now in series. G2 and T2 are also in series, and they are together in parallel. Okay, so reducing that, you find the following value. So that is J0102 per unit. And remember, the line is equal to J0.0367 per unit that we calculated on the previous tutorial. Now, don't be confused. How did we get this value? This value is simply adding G1, okay, adding G1 plus G2, okay, and also adding G2 plus T2. And the combination of G1 plus T1 must be in parallel with the combination of G2 plus T2, and that parallel value is going to yield us a value of 0.102 J per unit. Okay, that's how we find this value. So you can do that exercise on a side paper to make sure that you verify this number. If it's wrong, please drop a comment on the comment line and show us how you got the correct value. Okay, so basically that is that. Now what's happening here now? You've got these two impedances are now in series, because now your current is now flowing like this to the fault. That's now the part of your current. So you need to add these two impedances per unit impedance, and that will be very easy. So it's going to be a total Z per unit total of 0.1386 J per unit. Okay, so from here we can even stop this tutorial now, because you already know what's going to be the next process. You have to now calculate the short circuit current based on the Z per unit total of the new fault location. Okay, and that's going to be very easy. But now remember, a simple trick is the fault is now on the 33 kilovolt section. Your fault is no longer located on the 11 kilovolt zone here, is now here on the 33 kilovolt, because T1, okay, is stepping up to 33 and T2 is also stepping up to 33 kilovolt. So this entire zone here is on a 33 kilovolt potential. Okay, so what does it mean? It does mean that this voltage is the voltage you're going to use to calculate your I line here, the VB zone. Okay, so basically from there, your I per unit is going to be 7.215 amps. That is using this formula. Okay, I per unit is 1 over Z per unit, and your I line using this formula, which the VB zone of 33 kilovolt, you're going to find a 349.91 amp. Then you can then calculate your I short circuit current by multiplying I per unit times I line, and you find a current of 2.524 kilo amps. That is going to be available at that point, okay, on F2. Okay, so then you just need to reuse this formula for the I short circuit current to deduce the value of your MVA short circuit at that point F2, and that is going to give you a value of 144.3 megavolt ampere. So that's basically it. This is how you solve this kind of problem. Thank you guys for watching. Please stay tuned for the next tutorial. If you've learned anything, please don't forget to give this tutorial a thumbs up, and that will be highly appreciated. Cheers.